there was a moment where the first year when I was experiencing terrible acne, the agent actually said my skin looked broke. What's up, everyone? My name is Kevin Yu, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and also a model in LA. And today I wanted to share with you my experience modeling in LA, as well as just modeling in general. I really can't believe it's been 4 years since I've been doing this and being in the industry. It's been mostly part-time, but I still wanted to share with you kind of my journey. And I get asked a lot how I got into modeling. Friends or people that I meet, they ask like, Kevin, how'd you get into modeling? How do I get into modeling? Do you have any tips or recommendations? And how do you like it so far? And that's what I kind of wanted to break down today. These 4 different categories: how much you make, the lifestyle, how it affects your mental health, and then the process of actually finding an agent and getting booked. So without further ado, let's get into it. Well, this is great because I have to refilm everything. The mic that I was using, it started creating this really annoying buzzing sound. So remember, for the Rode Mic 2s, turn off the padding. And then I wanted to break up these videos because after filming the first time, I noticed that each part is pretty long. So this one's just gonna be talking about the finances. There's gonna be one talking about the lifestyle. There's gonna be one talking about mental health. And then there's one going to be talking about the process of getting started. Really, it's kind of wild to think about that it's been 4 years since I started modeling. I started modeling first, or actually I got signed in May 2019. And before that, I was trying to get signed when I was living in San Francisco. I tried for a bit, and I tried when I was living in Chicago, but for the top agencies. I was looking at like Ford Models, Wilhelmina, before I had any really experience. So that was something I was really naive about. I was like, oh, dude, there's not that many Asian models that are like over 6 foot. And 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, so let's just submit our digitals and let's get a call back and just go to a specific open call and let's get it. Didn't happen that way. Got humbled because just like anything, you need some experience. It's really rare where you just kind of walk off the street and get signed. That does definitely happen, but in my case, it wasn't that. For me, my journey was I did my first photo shoot with one of my really good friends' brother's t-shirt company, and I almost didn't even go. I think I went out the night before, kind of hungover, and he just drove up and he was like, hey, I'm here. And I was like, oh shit, I totally forgot about this. I didn't even brush my teeth. I just went out there and did the photo shoot, and I really liked it. Felt very pampered and fun, just working with other models and seeing what everything has to offer. Fast forward to get to the meat of things. This is what happened. Okay, so I got signed in May 2019, but the reason why I got signed was, a big part was the photographer that I was working with beforehand, just to build out my portfolio and also do some graduation photos. She was interning at 10 Management. So she recommended that I look into the company, and I just submitted the digitals that she took of me, and I got a call back and an interview to go to 10 Management and see what they had to say. So so we did the interview, and they just asked questions of like, they just looked at me, took my measurements, see how I looked with my shirt off, and then also wanted to know my availability because I was in grad school at the time for marriage and family therapy at Northwestern, and it was local, but it took up a lot of time. So really, I just said like, oh, anytime you're available for castings, I'm free, I'll be there. Just because my schedule is a little bit flexible. I kind of just said it, but in reality, I really couldn't miss class or miss clients. But at the end of the day, it all worked out. Fast forward, I graduate, I moved to LA August 2019, still, same year, and they helped me with placements in LA. So I told 10 Management, I was like, hey, I'm moving, can you help me find agents, an agency in LA? So they set me up with a couple interviews in LA, and LA Models was one of them. Had an interview with an agent. I don't know if I should mention his name. Sergio. I'm mentioning your name, Sergio. And we just vibed really well. He, same thing, took my measurements, saw me with my shirt off, took some portraits, or digitals, I guess. And I got a call the next day from my agent in Chicago saying like, oh, the LA Models wants you. Another agency also wanted you too, but LA Models is huge and really, really rare since I was such a new model to get signed by them. There wasn't really any Chinese-speaking talent at the time, and that was something that I thought I could do, which in reality, I am not qualified to do Mandarin-speaking roles because those things are hard AF. So the whole idea of moving to LA was I wanted to, the weather was really nice. The mental health was a little bit more accepted here, and it was also pretty close to just the tech industry because a lot more mental health companies were popping up at the time, and I wanted to be close and licensed in California. And also the entertainment side of things, where I wanted to try to do modeling and therapy, two things that kind of contradict one another. You kind of hear the stereotypes, you're working with therapists, like the nicest human beings out there. And then modeling, it's a little bit more cold, a little bit more judgmental, maybe. But those are, I would say, more stereotypes. I think it's just part of the business. They might be a little bit more curt because, there was a moment where the first year when I was experiencing terrible acne, the agent actually said my skin looked broke, and they had to take my pictures down from the website because I was pretty much catfishing casting directors. Once I would get casted, like my face and everything from my pictures, from my portfolio looked great, looked very clean, looked very, just no acne. And then once I got there, it was like, holy shit, like this guy's breaking out, like it just looks terrible. And that's why I wasn't really booking in the beginning once I moved to LA because my acne got so bad. And that set me off for about a year in LA. And also COVID happened. So it kind of worked out for the best interest for me. And I actually had to go on Accutane, which I could probably make a video on that later too, of my experience in Accutane and how that affected my mental health, how it affected my physical health, and then also how do you be a model when your main thing, your face, is not doing well. And that really took a big toll on me personally. And luckily, Accutane cleared everything up. Acne did come back later on, but I did do another round of treatment, but a different type of medication than Accutane because it was just way too harsh, Accutane was. So I was really stressed because of the acne. I was trying to build up my caseload once I moved to LA. And both of these jobs, you don't get paid until you book work or you see a client. So that was really tough. And I was, stressed also. That added to the acne. And I was working 5 jobs at the time, which is kind of crazy to think about now because I'm super blessed and really stuck with that process on getting to a place where I feel way more comfortable, a little bit more financially secure. Kind of not really, kind of talked in the last video where I'm spending way too much money on rent, but really just betting on myself and seeing where this can take me. I got super lucky once I moved to LA because LA Models is like a dream thing. Really big agency here, especially the men's board. I don't know, part of it was timing, part of it was who they had, part of it was me just being really adamant and trying and putting myself out there because I could just been a full-time therapist, but I really wanted to try and see if this would work out. And I did get signed, and I got my first booking was with Skechers when I moved here. Even though I think I did like 5 minutes worth of photos, it really like pushed me to step outside my comfort zone. Like, oh, I can really live out this dream. I can really do these things and give it my best shot. So that's where it kind of leads me into the first category, money. What is money like in modeling? Can you survive as a model financially, specifically living in LA? And what are some expectations for a signed model versus a freelance model? So for me, it was pretty inconsistent. Like I booked my Skechers job and I didn't book anything until probably another year and a half because COVID hit, acne was happening. But at least in LA, my average rate that I have seen for me, it's been about $2,000 per booking. Agency takes 20% of that, so you're left with 80% math. And then you have to deduct also, take a little bit of taxes out so that you can save it for the end of the year, paying on that. And then also something that not a lot of people might not know is that you're also paying a fee each month, almost like to have your profile on their website, just like a website fee. So you pay them for me it's $40 a month. I think in my LA office, LA models, I think it's also $40 in Chicago. Don't quote me now on that, but it is something that you just keep in mind. It's not that big a deal, but they just charge you and add you just so that you are getting some money, or that they are getting some money from you for each month for having them have you on their website and having them submit for you. Having them submit you, Jesus. I guess the range is the highest I ever booked for one job was $6,000. And the lowest I ever booked for one job was $750. And it's very sporadic for me. Since I'm only part-time, I got to reiterate that. And the goal was later, as things got a little bit busier with clients, was to book one modeling job a month. And that was my goal, just to help supplement with rent. I just wanted rent to be modeling, and everything else with therapy was personal expenses and savings and investments. I was booking one a month for quite some time until probably April of this year, of April 2022, because I got licensed and I just wanted to focus all my attention on building out the private practice of Solstice Therapy. And I told the agency in LA that I just want to hold off on castings and just focus on this. I would do direct bookings or anything like that, or anything that's like very serious, like they really want me to have a higher chance, because castings do take up a lot of time, and that's something I'll kind of go into later on and during the process section. So kind of in the summary of finances, definitely models can do this full time. It is something that you do need to grind out for. All the models that I know that are full time, they're killing it. I'm sure I think they have a good chunk of change. Either they're making at least 60,000 and up. The ones at least I know, they're all in the 100,000 range, just because they might be they're just getting booked a lot. I don't know how else to describe it, but as a part-timer, this is what to expect.